Have you ever had one of those moments, maybe while brushing your teeth or pouring your morning coffee, when you suddenly wonder, am I doing everything I can to stay healthy, to stay here longer for the people I love? If you have, you're not alone. It's something many of us start thinking about more often as we age. And it's not about fear, it's about hope, about living well, about making the most of the years we have. Now, let me ask you this. Do you believe that the little things you do every day, the habits that seem too small to matter, could actually be the key to living longer? Not the big, dramatic changes. I'm talking about the simple, almost invisible choices. Like how much water you drink, whether you stretch in the morning, even how you handle a tough conversation or a moment of stress. You see, we often think that avoiding the big threats is enough, things like smoking, or staying away from junk food entirely. And yes, those matter. But what if I told you that it's the small mistakes, the ones that slip by unnoticed, that can slowly chip away at our health and vitality? That's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video, because living longer isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about building a daily rhythm that supports energy, strength, and peace of mind. And it starts with awareness. So today, I want to walk you through a few of the most common mistakes people over 60 often make. Mistakes that can quietly affect our health and even shorten our lifespan. And more importantly, I want to help you gently steer away from them. Let's start with one of the most overlooked yet powerful factors in longevity: how we eat. Not just what we eat, but how. Have you ever caught yourself eating lunch while scrolling through your phone or watching television? Maybe dinner happens standing over the sink, or breakfast is just a quick bite while grabbing your keys. I've been there too. It doesn't seem like a big deal in the moment, but the truth is, distracted eating leads to overeating, poor digestion, and even emotional disconnect from our meals. It's a mistake that feels harmless until it becomes a pattern. Eating with intention, sitting down, chewing slowly, tasting your food, can actually improve digestion and help you feel satisfied with less. And when we're present while we eat, we tend to make better choices. So maybe next time, instead of eating in front of the TV, we light a candle, sit at the table, and take a breath before the first bite. It's a small shift, but one that can have a big ripple effect over time. What about you? Do you ever notice how you feel after a rushed meal compared to one you actually sat down to enjoy? I'd love to know in the comments. Now let's talk about movement, or rather, the lack of it. You've probably heard that regular physical activity is important, but here's the thing. It doesn't have to be a full workout at the gym. Sometimes, we skip moving altogether because we think it has to be big to be worth it. But the body doesn't need big. It needs consistent. Taking a 10-minute walk after dinner, stretching while the kettle boils, dancing a little while making breakfast. These small movements keep our circulation going, strengthen our joints, and even lift our mood. The mistake: thinking that if we can't do 30 minutes all at once, it's not worth doing at all. I had a friend who used to say, "If I don't have time for the treadmill, I'll just sit and wait for tomorrow." But eventually, she realized that 3 10-minute walks in a day were just as good, sometimes even better, and she felt stronger for it. Have you ever underestimated those little moments of motion? Maybe now's the time to start weaving them in, not as a chore, but as a gift to yourself. And while we're here, let's not ignore one more subtle but dangerous habit: underestimating the power of rest. So many of us brush off fatigue as just part of getting older. But persistent tiredness isn't just a nuisance, it's a sign that something needs attention. And sleep, real restful sleep, is essential to healing, memory, even heart health. But we sabotage it without meaning to: late-night screens, caffeine in the afternoon, an inconsistent sleep schedule. These things might feel normal, but they add up, just like good habits do. Maybe you've said to yourself, "I've always been a night owl," or "I just don't need much sleep." And while that may have been true years ago, our bodies change. They ask for different things as we grow. What would happen if, for 1 week, you tried going to bed 30 minutes earlier, or cutting out screens an hour before sleep? Would you feel clearer in the morning? More balanced? It's worth exploring. If any of this is resonating with you, you're already on the right path, because awareness is the first step. Once we see a pattern, we can start to gently shift it. We don't have to overhaul everything overnight. It's not about perfection. It's about attention, intention, and taking back control of the little moments that shape our days and our years. In the next part, we're going to dive even deeper into the other mistakes that can quietly affect your longevity. Ones that might surprise you, but also empower you. But before we go on, I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these habits in your own life? Have you already made a small change that's made a big difference? Drop it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Let's keep going, because if you're still here with me, I know this matters to you. And that means you're already doing more than most, just by paying attention, by asking, what can I do differently today? Now, we've talked about how we eat, how we move, and how we rest. But there's another area that's just as important, and yet so often neglected. Mental and emotional well-being. You might be thinking, I'm fine. I don't feel depressed. But this isn't just about depression. It's about what we carry around every day. Stress, loneliness, worry, and how that affects our bodies. Have you ever had one of those nights where your mind just won't turn off? You lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, going over conversations from years ago, or worrying about your kids, your health, your finances. That tension, it settles in our shoulders, our backs, our guts. It shows up in blood pressure, in immune function, in sleep. Ignoring mental health is one of those subtle mistakes that creeps in slowly. You don't notice it right away, but over time, it wears on you. So let me ask, what do you do to care for your mind, not just your body? Do you have someone to talk to when you're feeling low? Do you give yourself permission to say no to things that drain you? Have you tried things like deep breathing, meditation, or even just sitting quietly outside with a cup of tea? You don't have to sit cross-legged on a cushion for hours. Even 5 minutes of quiet breathing can shift your entire nervous system. Imagine that. Just 5 minutes a day could help you live longer. Isn't that something? And if you're feeling alone, please know, you're not the only one. Many people, especially over 60, find that their social circles shrink. Friends move, loved ones pass, or daily routines change after retirement. It's easy to slip into isolation without even realizing it. But here's the truth. Loneliness is just as dangerous as smoking. That's not just me saying it. Study after study has shown that lack of social connection increases your risk of early death. And yet, it's so common that we tend to dismiss it. So if you've been feeling disconnected, what small step could you take to change that? A phone call to an old friend? Joining a community class, even if it's just once a week? Commenting below this video and sharing your thoughts? You never know who might see your words and feel less alone because of them. I had a viewer once. Let's call her Linda. She wrote me a message after watching one of my videos, saying she hadn't spoken to anyone in days, but something in the way I said, "You're not alone," made her cry. She said it reminded her that her voice still mattered, that she still mattered, and she does. So do you. Now, while we're on the topic of emotions, I want to touch on one more mistake many people make, especially those of us who've been through a lot, and that's carrying regret like it's a backpack we're too afraid to set down. You know the kind of thoughts I mean. I should have done more with my time. Why did I wait so long to take care of myself? If only I had, fill in the blank. But here's what I've learned. Regret doesn't heal the past. It only steals joy from the present. And the present, the right now, is the only moment where change is possible. What if, just for today, you gave yourself permission to release one of those old regrets? Not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. What would that feel like? Living longer isn't about chasing youth. It's about embracing today, choosing kindness, especially for ourselves. And every time we forgive ourselves a little, we open space for healing, for peace, for better days ahead. So, if you're holding on to something heavy, maybe today is a good day to put it down. We've talked about some powerful things so far, how habits around eating, movement, sleep, emotional health, and connection can all impact your longevity. But we're not done yet. In the next part, we'll explore a few more surprising mistakes that many people over 60 make without realizing it, and the simple ways to turn them around. Before we move forward, take a moment. Think about which part of today's message spoke to you the most. Was it the reminder to slow down during meals? To take a short walk after lunch? To reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while? You don't have to do it all. Just pick one thing. One tiny shift. Because when you make that choice, you're not just adding years to your life. You're adding life to your years. And if any of this has sparked something in you, share it below. I read every comment. Sometimes the smallest insight you write could light a spark for someone else. Let's support each other. We're all in this together. You're still with me. And I just want to say, thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. That's a powerful thing. It means you're already taking steps most people never even think to take. And that counts. Now, let's talk about a couple more sneaky mistakes that often go unnoticed, but can quietly shape the quality and length of our lives. One of the most common ones? Not drinking enough water. It sounds too simple to matter, doesn't it? But hydration plays a massive role in nearly every function of the body, especially as we get older. It supports digestion, cushions our joints, keeps our skin healthier, and even helps regulate mood and brain function. Yet so many people over 60 walk around mildly dehydrated every day and never even realize it. Why? Because our sense of thirst actually dulls as we age. We don't always feel thirsty the way we used to. But just because we don't feel it doesn't mean our bodies don't need it. So here's a question for you. When's the last time you had a full glass of water, not just a sip? And what if you got in the habit of drinking a glass first thing in the morning, before anything else? That one little act could improve your digestion, boost your energy, and even help with focus. Try it tomorrow. Before coffee, before breakfast. Just a tall, refreshing glass of water to say, "Here's to my health." It's such a small gesture, and yet it's one of the kindest things you can do for your body. Now, there's one final mistake I want to bring up. It's one that's harder to spot because it's not physical. It's believing that it's too late to change. That thought, it creeps in so quietly. Maybe after a bad doctor's appointment, or after a fall, or when the energy just isn't there like it used to be. And it whispers, "This is just how it is now." Or worse, why bother? But let me tell you something, and I mean this with all my heart. It is never too late. Your body is listening. Your heart is listening. Your spirit is still awake. Pick 8. I've seen people in their 70s and 80s transform their lives with just a few consistent changes. I've seen someone go from barely being able to walk to dancing again because they believed they could start. I've seen someone let go of bitterness they held for decades and suddenly feel years lighter. You have time. You have today. And that's enough. The key isn't doing everything perfectly. It's doing something, and doing it again tomorrow. Maybe that means cooking one more meal at home this week. Maybe it means stretching for 5 minutes in the morning. Maybe it means forgiving yourself for something you've held on to for far too long. Let this be the season you surprise yourself. Because longevity isn't just about adding time to your life. It's about adding vitality to the time you already have. It's about choosing habits that lift you up, that make you feel more connected to your body, to your purpose, and to the people around you. So let's take a moment to breathe that in. You've just walked through some of the most common and fixable mistakes that affect longevity. Rushed or distracted eating, too little movement, skimping on rest, ignoring mental and emotional health, disconnection and loneliness, not drinking enough water, and the biggest one, believing it's too late to improve. If any of these hit home for you, that's not a bad thing. It means your awareness is growing. It means you're ready to take the next step. And if you've already started making changes, even the smallest ones, I want you to take a moment and feel proud. Because those little adjustments, they're planting seeds. And those seeds grow stronger with time, consistency, and care. So here's my invitation to you. Pick one thing you're going to try this week. Just one. Write it down. Say it out loud. Or share it in the comments below so others can cheer you on. Maybe it's, "I'm going to walk around the block after lunch." Or, "I'll drink a full glass of water when I wake up." Or, "I'll finally schedule that checkup I've been putting off." Whatever it is, own it. You deserve to feel strong. You deserve to feel clear. And yes, you deserve to live longer. If this message touched you in some way, I'd love for you to leave a comment. Share a story, a thought, or a commitment. We have a wonderful community here, and your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you'd like more uplifting, practical content just like this, go ahead and give this video a like, and hit that subscribe button, so you won't miss what's coming next. There's so much more ahead for you. More energy, more laughter, more connection, more days that feel good. Your best years still have so much to offer. Let's make the most of them together.